Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user ThrowArraySister. Am I the a-hole for refusing to help my sister after she didn't show up for my wedding? So, my 29 female sister, 27 female, and I have always been pretty close, or so I thought. Last year, I got married to the love of my life and we had a small, intimate wedding. My sister was supposed to be my maid of honor, but she never showed up, no call, no text, nothing. I was devastated, but I tried to focus on the day and not let it ruin things. Later, she explained that she had a panic attack and couldn't handle the pressure. I understood and tried to be supportive, but it still hurt that she didn't even try to let me know. Fast forward to now. My sister is pregnant and recently asked me for help, both financially and with planning her baby shower. She's in a tough spot, and I do feel bad for her, but I'm still hurt about the wedding. I told her that I was not in a position to help her right now, and she got really upset, saying that I was being selfish and holding a grudge. Now, my family is divided. Some say I should let it go and support her, while others think it's fair for me to be upset. So, am I the a-hole for refusing to help her? Well, OP, in my opinion, there's two different things here. So one, she skipped out or she flaked out on your wedding because she had a panic attack. She could have called you or texted you, but apparently it was too much of a crippling panic attack that she couldn't even do that. And you are absolutely in your right to still be upset if she hasn't even apologized, because apparently she just gave you the excuse but didn't even say, "I'm sorry I couldn't be there for you." And now regarding her demanding your help for a baby shower, which if she's in a financial spot, why should she be having a party? I don't get that part, but whatever. But you told her that you're not in a position to help right now. I'm going to assume that means that you and your husband just don't have money additionally lying around to help your sister out. And all of these side commenters from your family that say that you should support her, apparently there's a lot of them, so maybe they should pull their additional money to help your sister, because you can't. So no, OP, I don't think you're the a-hole. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Adjudicateo says, not the a-hole. Give anyone who disagrees her phone number so they can give her money and help plan the shower. If she couldn't handle being a secondary player at your wedding, what makes her think she will be able to show up as the center of attention at a baby shower? What she needs is therapy before that child arrives. Jen and a lot of nines says, so she's pregnant and needs help now? Let's just suppose you help her financially now. What will change once the baby is born? Is she doing anything to help herself out financially for the longer term? Will she be in a better financial position once the baby is born? Is she making an effort to be a financially responsible parent? If so, then yes, help her out now, but be firm about her long-term responsibility. If she isn't changing her circumstances though, and you help her out now, you will potentially be setting yourself up to be a walking wallet for the next 20 years or so. And that answer doesn't even begin to address her mental health situation and how resilient she is going to need to be to raise a child. And Turbulent Ab 5669 says, I'm sorry, panic attack or not, who doesn't turn up or even let the bride know they're not going to turn up at a wedding of a sibling? Not the a-hole. I wouldn't be helping her with anything. Additional information from OP's comments. I understand that my sister might be dealing with some serious challenges, especially with her pregnancy. I do want to be there for her and my future niece or nephew. However, her behavior has been really hurtful, and it's hard to overlook that without some kind of acknowledgement or apology. I'm trying to balance being supportive with also setting boundaries so that my feelings aren't continuously disregarded. Now, as far as I know, my sister hasn't been diagnosed with a specific mental illness, though she has mentioned experiencing anxiety. She didn't give any prior warning about her struggles during the wedding planning, which made her absence more difficult to understand. It would have been helpful if she had communicated her concerns earlier, so we could have worked together to find a solution. Finally, yes, our parents are involved, but they have their own perspectives and have sometimes been part of the problem in terms of how they handle family dynamics. I'm often the one in the position to manage conflicts and offer support, which is why I'm being asked. I appreciate all your advice and will consider how best to approach this with her. So the community agrees that OP is not the a-hole and that a panic attack is not an excuse to not let OP know that she wasn't going to be participating in the wedding in which she was a maid of honor. We also learned that OP is trying to set proper boundaries with her sister and will try to approach her about the topic. So now let's move on to the update to see how that went and how the story ends. Thank you for all your thoughtful advice and support. I'd like to provide a detailed update on the situation and the recent developments. After much reflection, I decided to address the issue directly with my sister. I arranged a meeting with her, aiming to have an honest and open discussion about her absence from my wedding. I felt it was important to articulate how deeply her actions affected me, particularly since she was supposed to be my maid of honor. During our conversation, I started by expressing how hurt and disappointed I was by her not showing up and not even attempting to contact me on the day of the wedding. I told her that her absence, especially given her role, was devastating and made a significant impact on my special day. I stressed that her lack of communication made the situation even more painful. My sister's reaction was quite defensive. Instead of acknowledging the hurt she caused, she focused heavily on her panic attack. She claimed that her mental health crisis was so overwhelming that she couldn't manage to reach out, and she expected this to be sufficient justification for her absence. She repeatedly said that I should understand how debilitating her condition was and suggested that I was being unreasonable for holding on to my feelings. I tried to explain that while I understood she was dealing with a serious issue, the lack of communication and the absence on a major day in my life left me feeling abandoned and unsupported. I emphasized that acknowledging the impact of her actions was crucial for moving forward and rebuilding our relationship. The conversation took a frustrating turn when my sister shifted focus to her current struggles. She is pregnant and deals with financial difficulties, which she attributes to her baby daddy's lack of involvement. She asked for my help with her baby shower and financial support, framing it as a dire need given her challenging circumstances. Hold on, but a baby shower is not a dire need, is it? I don't think so. It became apparent that she was relying heavily on others to make up for her baby daddy's shortcomings. When I mentioned that I wasn't in a position to help financially or with the baby shower, she became upset and accused me of being unsupportive and selfish. She argued that my refusal to help given her current situation was further evidence of me holding a grudge. She suggested that family should come together in times of need, even if past grievances haven't been fully resolved. Throughout the discussion, my sister's approach felt dismissive. She seemed to believe that her current struggles should overshadow the past issues and that I should put my feelings aside to support her. Her defensiveness and lack of genuine remorse made it difficult to see a path forward where both of our concerns could be addressed. My parents, who were informed about the situation, have been urging me to be more forgiving and supportive. They believe that family should come together, especially in difficult times. Their perspective has been challenging as it feels like they're minimizing my own hurt and focusing primarily on my sister's current needs. My husband has been a key source of support. He agrees with my decision to maintain boundaries and not provide support under the current circumstances. He feels that while empathy is important, my sister's failure to take responsibility and her tendency to blame others makes it difficult to justify helping her. In summary, I've decided to stand by my decision not to help with the baby shower or provide financial assistance. My sister's lack of genuine acknowledgement of her past actions and her tendency to deflect blame have solidified my choice. My family remains divided, with some members feeling I should be more supportive and others understanding my need to protect my emotional well-being. Navigating this situation has been emotionally taxing, but I'm focusing on maintaining clear boundaries and ensuring my own needs are met. I hope that over time, my sister may come to understand the impact of her actions and that we might be able to rebuild our relationship. Thank you again for your support and advice. Well, it'll be good for you for setting strong boundaries and enforcing them. Your parents are so preoccupied about family coming together and that you should help her out when you financially can't. Well, maybe they should follow their own advice. Maybe they should be the one supporting their daughter in her time of need, no? It also sounds like your sister can't see anybody else's perspective, so honestly, I wouldn't hold my breath waiting for some sort of acknowledgement from her or even an apology. I think she's actually gonna get more angry and talk more crap about you because you've turned your back on her in her time of need or some crap like that. But still, OP, I think this is a positive update for you. So on that note, here's wishing you the best in the future. Take care and thank you for sharing. And now let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user Forsaken Rough 608. Would I be the a-hole for telling my roommate's girlfriend it shouldn't be her concern when I'm coming home? So I, 24 male, live with my cousin, 23 male, and recently he began dating a former co-worker of ours, 20 female, who has her own place. They started officially seeing each other around a month ago and have literally spent less than 24 consecutive hours apart since. That being said, apart from what feels like the loss of a best friend, I am very annoyed and frustrated that he is now never home to help with chores, nor to care for our 3 cats, and when he is home, she is now there too. Every time. I don't dislike his girlfriend, even though we shared some less than friendly interactions when working together, whole other story, but I definitely did not sign up to live with her for days at a time. Although I have never outright expressed this, I have hinted at it a couple of times and jokingly saying that she does not get a vote on trivial matters because she does not live here or pay rent, to which her replies is always, I basically live here because of how much I am over here. Anyway, today she texted me asking if I would be back home tonight. I am visiting my parents for a couple of days. When I said I wasn't sure and why she was asking, she responded, oh, just wondering. Would I be the a-hole for replying that it is none of her business when I decided to come home and go to my apartment? Well, no, I don't think you'd be the a-hole for telling her it's none of her business, but do you really want to get into that conversation with her? If you have an issue with her, I think instead of hinting at it, you need to directly speak to your cousin about it. Tell him that her being in the apartment all the time is affecting the relationship and that he's not following through with his part of the deal. Now, at the same time, if I was in your shoes, I'd be looking for my own place. You know, as a plan B, just in case your cousin doesn't understand what you're trying to say and gets defensive or whatever. And what do you guys think about OP's situation? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Stonewall Brigade 21 says, quote, her reply is always, I basically live here because of how much I am over here, end quote. So she's admitting she should be paying rent? Why aren't you asking about not having her over so much instead of telling her it's none of her business when you get home? She didn't even seem to care that much. Oh, just wondering. And she didn't push it, or what about your roommate not being around to help out? And OP responds, I didn't think of her response as not caring so much as she didn't want to reveal why she wants to know to me. Maybe even because she knows it's a reason I would not approve of in my own house. That may just be my bad though of only expecting the worst. But yes, I agree, I should be having a sit down with my roommate instead. This just rubbed me the wrong way coming from her and not him. Amen Stareye says, not the a-hole. There is nothing more annoying than watching grown adults behave as though they're joint at the hip. You need to have an honest conversation with your buddy, alone, about both the frequency of her visits and the diminishment of your friendship. He may not hear you until he's out of the honeymoon phase, but it deserves to be said. And finally, that text would have hit very different had she not built a history of claiming part ownership over a space that isn't her own. Keep the peace is a great principle to ensure that the bigger, louder a-hole always wins. It's your effing apartment. Next time, ask her if she plans to still be at your house when you arrive, for F's sake. And Opie responds, the usual me would have said exactly this and wouldn't care to be labeled an a-hole. The only reason I am second guessing is out of respect for my cousin, but this is not the first time I have compromised my usual tendencies in efforts to do so. Why is he not the one asking me? Otherwise, it leads me to believe that it's because she has intentions to use the apartment for something she knows I have established with my cousin as off limits, such as sex in the common spaces, or particularly her friends coming over, as her closest friend is not someone that I want to be in my apartment. And had to sign up for this says, they just want to know for privacy reasons. I'm torn, but going everybody sucks here. Her and your cousin for him falling down on chores and her thinking she has a vote while not contributing. You for not using your big boy words and just talking this through with your cousin. Instead, you're just sulking and being passive aggressive. And Opie responds, she has her own place. There is no reason for them to need more privacy than his bedroom when they are at our place, in my opinion. We have a no sex in the common rooms rule that I made explicitly clear to her the first time they hung out at our place instead of hers. Also, yes, I tend to fester because there are a few things that make me mad, but this has been building from multiple other instances. So I agree, I need to talk to him and stop sulking before I do get mad. Opie's edit for clarity. 1. We have 3 cats. One is mine, one is his, and one we got from his mom while living together, so we have never claimed separate custody, but I will be claiming him when I inevitably move. 2. I have 2 out of the 3 cats with me visiting at my parents'. His is back home with him and his girlfriend. Due to his excessive absence, I have decided to try my best to retain sole custody of the 3rd, as I will likely be relocating for work in the coming months. Yes, I sort of contradicted myself, but to clarify, he has not been home for about 70% of the past month. The other 30% he is, and she is with him every night he stays at home. However, even when he is home, I have had to clean up behind him in the common spaces. 4. The lease is in both of our names, split down the middle with our own bedrooms and bathrooms, but shared common spaces. We have a previously agreed upon no sex rule for common spaces. Sex and hanging out naked in the common areas just seems gross and inconsiderate. Not to mention that she has a place of her own that she doesn't share with any roommates. And 5, I have decided not to respond to her and will be contacting him shortly to find out why she is asking me so many things instead of him and why they need to know. Finally, they both knew that I was leaving yesterday to come home, and I always bring my cat with me. Sometimes I take our 3rd cat that we shared custody of, and this one was one of those times. So I called them when I left because I heard them talking in his room as I was leaving and was in a rush and he didn't answer. It took him 6 hours to notice and text me to ask if I had our cat with me because he said he hadn't seen him. I have been taking care of my cat, his cat, and our shared cat alone at least 4 to 5 days a week the past month and a half. I appreciate all the help trying to figure it out because I'm really confused as to why she is asking me about my whereabouts. So the majority of the community judged OP to not be the a-hole, although there were a few everybody sucks here, but that's basically because OP hadn't been assertive. We also learned that a key point for OP that he didn't mention in his post is the fact that he has been taking care of all cats, and his cousin is not only not picking up his chores and having his girlfriend there all the time, but he's not doing that either. So now let's move on to the update to see how the story ends. I asked my cousin why his girlfriend is texting me wondering about when I would be coming home. He told me it was so that he could make sure his cat wouldn't be by himself last night. When I asked why he didn't just call me himself, his response was that he was about to ask me, but then he got ready for class and forgot to, so she just went ahead and did it. I then explained how she could have just said that when I asked why, and that it came off as weird as a text from her and not from him in the first place. He apologized and reiterated that it was so that his cat was not alone for the night. I'm glad this was the reason, as I don't feel as bad about leaving his kitty with him. currently house hunting as I'm still annoyed about other issues, but that'll be another Am I the A-hole for another time. Well, Opie, I'd say it's a good thing that you're house hunting and moving out. I totally understand your frustration with their relationship, and it's not about them being in a relationship, it's the way they behave with others, particularly you. You know, he's got you doing his chores for him, he's wondering if you're gonna be around to take care of his cat, probably because he was gonna go spend the night at her place or something like that. So on that note, happy hunting, Opie, and hopefully you find a place soon to move. Take care and thank you for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.